very beginning, and I said, I don't want to hear nothing about that because I don't want to run people off before we get started. I always say it this way because it's what my mindset was and still is.
Right.
You know, up in Lewis County, Kentucky, where I come from, around Dad's grocery store, a lot of the farmers would be sitting around in there and they would be talking about a certain house out here that's haunted, way out here in the woods, and talking about haunted places, and they'd tell stories about it, and I'd be listening, and there ain't no way you'd get me to go near there. And I thought, well, ain't nobody gonna want to come to a place that's haunted. Of course, I don't believe it anyway, but a whole lot of people do, and actually more people do than don't.
Yeah.
And people come from all over, these paranormal groups come and
Yes.
spend the night in there,
Yeah.
from everywhere.
Yeah.
And so it's a big thing, it's bigger than I am, and I still don't believe in it, but I respect everybody that does, and people spend the night in there and they swear they connect with stuff, and that's all well and good, but I don't connect with it.
Yeah.
But I wrote this song about it.
Okay.
Back in 1989 is when I wrote the song, and it's actually the biggest, the big social media hit, the biggest song I've ever had. It's been on YouTube and stuff. It's, God, it must be approaching 750,000
more.
hits on it.
Or more.
Wow.
Well, that's amazing. That's great.
So,
What's the name of it?
way back in the 30s, in the little town of Wilder, lived an old man and his lovely little daughter. They ran gambling for a living, it was the best place around. All the men would come and lay their money down. Her daddy was a jealous man, but Johanna fell in love. He kept saying the man dealt a bad hand. So deep in the night, when all the world is quiet, someone came, took her lover's life. Johanna, Johanna, where are you now? Could it be you're still here somehow? Johanna, Johanna, where are you now? Is it true you're still here somehow? Now today it's a different place, on the same with a new face, with strange mysteries hanging in the air. People in their sane minds swear they see you today. Are you looking for the love they took away? Everyone knows that you couldn't bear the pain, so you took your life in the pouring rain. You took your life in the pouring rain. Johanna, Johanna, are you really here? Looking for your lover after all these years. Johanna, Johanna, are you really here? Has your lover returned after all these years? Now some may not believe it, and I won't say it's true, but some of us have smelled your rose perfume. Johanna, Johanna, are you really here? Looking for your lover after all these years. Johanna, Johanna, are you really here? Has your lover returned after all these years? Has your lover returned after all these years?
Mr. Bobby Mackey live in the studio with me here at WAIF 88.3 FM on Labor Day on Monday. And it's top of the hour and you're tuned in to WAIF in Cincinnati. Well, Bobby, I know you got a ton of stories that you can tell about the club, and you've had some awesome entertainment.
And a whole bunch that I can't tell.
Well, if I want to stay on the air, you can't tell. That's for sure. But no, I know probably. Well, I mean, you had a lot of guests in the club other than an icon and a legend, Merle Haggard.
Yeah, and George Jones.
And George Jones, that's right. And you had Johnny Paycheck?
Yeah, Paycheck was there, ready to wail, out of jail and ready to wail. Now, when Paycheck had the, you know, the little incident and ended up having a problem, and he was gone for a couple of years, and as soon as he got out, he needed a place to work, so we booked him, and a local radio station here promoted it, and I don't think Paycheck liked it too well, but we used the promotion line, Johnny Paycheck's out of jail and ready to wail. And he was.
Yeah, yeah. What kind of guy was he?
Paycheck was, you know, he was his own guy. You know, back in his younger days, he'd party for days on end.
Yeah.
And
like a lot of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And actually, his career never really took off until he kind of settled down from that. And I was playing at the Apple in Woodlawn.
Okay.
And we had a big jam session on Sunday, and Paycheck stopped in, and he'd been probably in the same clothes for a week, partying, and wow, he couldn't believe it. And the guy that was up playing steel guitar, Paycheck liked to play steel.
Did he?
Yeah. So the guy that was playing steel and the band playing, and Paycheck goes up there and walks up on stage and tapped the steel player on the shoulder and told him to get up. He sat down and started playing steel. And the word, you know, was going around that he was leaving there after that show and going to Nashville for a meeting with Billy Sherrill.
Okay.
And Billy wanted to record him.
Yeah.
On, what was it, Epic Records, I think it was.
Okay.
And it wasn't just a few months after that, he'd gone to Nashville and they got a session together, and he came out with Friend Don't Take Her, She's All I Got.
Oh, yeah.
And that launched his career back to going, you know.
Yeah, he's one of those guys, you know, to me, Paycheck, you know, I've got that Outlaw t-shirt that I have. It's got Paycheck and it's got Waylon and Willie and David Allen Coe on it, you know.
Yeah.
And
The Outlaws.
4 Outlaws,
Yeah.
you know. You know, there was one guy that I don't think ever got really credit for being an outlaw was Tom Paul of Tom Paul and the Glazer Brothers.
Boy, weren't they great?
Oh,
I
yeah.
saw them with Marty Robbins.
Really?
They sang that backup harmony with Marty Robbins on all the little cowboy songs and
Mhm.
stuff. The Glazers.
Yeah, the Glazer Brothers.
Tom, Paul, Chuck, and Gianna.
Yeah.
Glazers.
There you go, man. You know.
Yeah.
Where were they from, do you know? You remember?
No, I can't remember right offhand.
Okay. But I know that Willie, you know, he did Me and Paul,
Oh, yeah.
you know.
Yeah,
And,
they like,
and
they
then,
like to pick on me and Paul.
Yeah, they like to pick on me and Paul, yeah, I mean, so, great stuff, you know, a lot of these guys, to me, I mean, you know, they were right there, you know, they were all outlaws, a lot of them were outlaws, but they just didn't get put into the category of an outlaw, you know.
Yeah.
When Waylon and Willie, you know, came up with that idea, and you know, you
Yeah.
get out of the 2 and 3 piece suits, and you walk out there in
They
blue
made it
jeans and a vest and a cowboy hat, and you got a beard, you know, like
They made
Dallas
it
has,
happen.
you know.
They created the whole outlaw.
Oh, they did, and of course, you know, Willie's the only one that's left out there that's, you know, still traveling around the country.
But with Paycheck, about 3 years ago, up in Greenville, Ohio, where Paycheck's from, they had a tribute to him up there. They had a big Johnny Paycheck Day. It was supposed to be out in the middle of the street, and they had everything all set up, and it became a big gully washer.
The thunderstorm.
It just rained.
Monsoon.
So we moved it into the high school auditorium up there.
Okay.
And it was a great show, you know, honoring Paycheck. And when they called me and asked me to do it, I was in the middle of recording at the time down in Columbia, Kentucky, at Red Brick Studio where I've been recording down there. And I was down there in the middle of cutting the album. And when I got the call and they asked me to do that, that evening, I was still down there because I was in a motel because I'd been recording every day.
Right.
And when I got that call after I hung up the phone, I want to do that, but you know what, I need to write a song about Paycheck. And so I did.
It's on this album.
It's on that Country Music Lives On album. It's called Paycheck Was a Shove It Kind of Guy.
Take this job and shove it, right? Is that what
Paycheck was a shove it kind of guy.
And he was, no doubt, I would say. Because I know you want to do that song.
And an old violin could bring a tear to a
Oh, that's a classic. That's a classic song, don't you think?
Oh, yeah.
From Johnny?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, and
He had a lot of great songs.
oh, he did.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
But I don't remember the Paycheck song. I haven't sung it for a while, so I better not try that. You can play it on there if you want.
Okay, and another great one I liked from him was The Only Hell My Mama Ever Raised.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. That was a slow song originally.
Was it?
Ron Sweet cut that song real slow. You know, I'm the only hell my mama ever raised. And then Paycheck got a hold of it and he juiced it up. You didn't know that?
No, I did not know that. No, see, so I learned a lot from the master.
But
Seriously, I like to think I know my country music, but there's a lot I don't, you know, so I really, appreciate, when people want to fill me in on stuff that, I'm not familiar with. Did you ever have David Allen Coe?
halfway.
Halfway?
Halfway.
Oh, okay.
We booked David Allen Coe in, and he had a show on Saturday down around Preston, and in the afternoon. And on Friday night he wanted a place to play, so he talked us into letting him come in to work for the door to do an earlier show before we go on, see. And he understood that you got to use our sound system, and anything you put up for your show, you can't take it down till the night's over, because when you're done, we got to start playing.
Right.
Because, you can't leave a dead time between the shows when you got a Friday night crowd like we always did. And, I'm glad you heard that, RJ. I can get a Dixie cup drink of water here.
That's all right, go right ahead. 7 minutes past the hour. Monday afternoon on Classics of Country with my good buddy Bobby Mackey in the studio here with me. And like he said when he came in, it's very unusual for him to get up and go to someplace on a Monday.
It takes me
But
till Wednesday to be able
I'm
to talk.
totally an honor to have you here, seriously.
Great. It's great to be here, Tom.
Yeah.
Thank you for being great to us. We appreciate it.
Well, thank you for being great to me, because I would have never had any of this if it wasn't for doing what I'm sitting here doing. So I mean that's a fact. And so many people that I've met and all the local entertainers that I've had in the studio, and the 2 great jam sessions that we've done. That nobody else has done, so I can take that claim to fame.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun.
Yeah, well, you did the first one, you did the second one, and actually, you were very influential in my thinking to do the second one.
Yeah?
Because when you mentioned that, we need to do that again.
Yeah.
So I did, so we'll have to see for next year if we can up that from 9 to 12, or have them hanging off the roof of the building or something.
It's a nice jam, and these days I think they call it a guitar pull.
Do they?
I think so.
Oh, that's cool. Where you want to play for us,
I
Bob?
want to finish the David Allen Coe story.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's a good story.
So,
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'll turn the mic over to Bobby.
they come over. They come in and started setting stuff up, and at that time, they'd hang up a rebel flag and lights and everything. And by the time we figured out it was happening, RJ had got to the club, figured out it was happening. He said, we got a problem, he's setting all this stuff up. And I said, we tell him we gotta leave it until the night's over, because when he's done, we're gonna start right away. Because they carried in stuff for 2 hours.
Holy.
And, you know, so when their show was over, are they gonna carry it out for
For
2
2
hours?
hours, yeah.
And I said, you can't do that. Oh, they had to tear it down because they had to be in Prestonburg, Kentucky the next afternoon. I said, you gotta leave it up now or leave it up all night or tear it down now. So they tore it down. So I said, we had a half a show. I told you partly, right, when you said that I have him there, yeah. It was a shame it worked out that way, but they knew the story.
Yeah.
They knew what it had to be. It was clear.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, you know, he's quite a unique individual.
And, yes, he is, and, you know, he had a bad wreck, and he's not doing real well, you know, from what I understand. But
Yeah, crashed his Suburban.
we wish him the best. That was just a little bump in the road, you know. David Alco's a bona fide,
Oh, he's an outlaw.
he's got a lot of followers.
Yeah, he's an outlaw. Dallas opened up for him.
Yeah, I know.
And I did it for quite a while.
Yeah. Dallas been playing some shows with Billy Joe Shaver too, ain't he?
Oh, yeah. I just played Billy Joe earlier on the show
Did you?
today, you know, of course, a can of sun. You know, I mean, I love Billy Joe Shaver.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
I mean, he's a great classic guy in that era with Waylon and Willie and Haggard and Jones.
Wrote a lot of great songs.
Oh,
he
yeah.
wrote I'm Just an Old Chunk of Coal
Yeah,
for one. But,
John Anderson did.
yeah, but his biggest thing was all the albums, all the songs he had on a Waylon Jennings album, which was a monster.
Yeah.
You know.
Well,
Honky Tonk he wrote.
he's a very, very talented guy, and unfortunately lost his son. You know.
Yeah,
yeah.
I knew that. He was a great guitar player
Oh,
too, from what I
he could
understand.
flat play guitar.
Yeah.
You know. So, what do you want to do for us?
I'll tell you what, we probably should do, the first time I sang this song,